Hey there, fellow garden enthusiasts. Have you ever wondered why your neighbor's tomatoes are thriving while yours look like they've given up on life? Or why some areas of your garden seem cursed no matter what you plant there? The answer might be right beneath your feet. Your soil is the foundation of everything that grows in your garden, and when it's struggling, your plants will struggle too. Today we're diving deep into the 10 telltale signs that your garden soil needs some serious TLC, plus natural solutions that will transform your garden from disappointing to dazzling. Sign number 1. Water pools on the surface after rain. Picture this scenario. It rained yesterday, but there are still puddles sitting on your garden beds like unwelcome guests who won't leave the party. This is your soil's way of waving a red flag and shouting for help. When water can't penetrate the soil layers and instead sits on the surface, you're dealing with drainage issues that can literally suffocate your plants. Poor drainage typically stems from compacted soil or high clay content that creates an impermeable barrier. Think of it as trying to drink through a straw that's been pinched shut. The water has nowhere to go. This waterlogged environment creates the perfect breeding ground for root rot and fungal diseases, essentially drowning your plants' root systems and depriving them of the oxygen they desperately need. The natural fix starts with introducing organic matter like compost, which acts like tiny sponges that break up those compacted particles and create pathways for water to flow through. You can also incorporate sand or perlite to improve drainage, but be careful with sand in clay soil. It can sometimes create a concrete-like mixture. For severely problematic areas, consider creating raised beds that give you complete control over your soil composition and structure. Sign number 2. Your soil feels like concrete. We've all been there. You grab your trusty shovel, march out to the garden with enthusiasm, and then feel like you're trying to dig through a sidewalk. Compacted soil is one of the most frustrating challenges gardeners face because it essentially puts your plants in a straitjacket. When soil becomes dense and hard-packed, water can't infiltrate, nutrients can't move freely, and plant roots struggle to expand and establish themselves. Compaction often occurs from foot traffic, heavy machinery, or working the soil when it's too wet. Clay soils are particularly susceptible, but even sandy soils can become compacted under the right, or maybe I should say wrong, conditions. Your plant's roots need space to breathe and grow, and compacted soil denies them this basic necessity. To naturally remedy this situation, start by using a garden fork or manual aerator to gently loosen the soil without destroying its structure. Avoid the temptation to overtill, as this can actually worsen compaction problems in the long run by breaking down soil aggregates. Instead, focus on adding organic mulch to the surface, which will slowly work its way down and improve soil structure over time. Here's a gardener's secret weapon. Introduce earthworms to your garden or plant cover crops during the off-season. Both of these natural soil engineers will work tirelessly to break up compaction while adding beneficial organic matter to your soil. Sign number 3. Plants are yellowing or growing slowly. When your plants look pale, weak, and grow at a snail's pace despite your best efforts, they're essentially telling you they're malnourished. Just like humans need a balanced diet with proteins, carbohydrates, vitamins, and minerals, plants require specific nutrients, primarily nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, along with essential trace elements, to thrive and reach their full potential. Nutrient-deficient soil often results from years of intensive gardening without replenishing what's been taken out, or from soil that's naturally low in organic matter. The irony is that you might be watering diligently and providing plenty of sunlight, but if the soil can't deliver the nutritional building blocks your plants need, they'll continue to struggle regardless of your other efforts. Start by conducting a simple soil test to identify which nutrients are lacking or out of balance. Many garden centers offer basic test kits, or you can send samples to your local extension office for comprehensive analysis. Once you know what you're working with, you can amend your soil with targeted organic solutions like compost, aged manure, or specific organic fertilizers. And don't forget to practice crop rotation each season, which prevents any single crop from depleting specific nutrients and maintains overall soil fertility. Sign number 4. Weeds are thriving but your plants aren't. It's incredibly frustrating to watch weeds flourish like they own the place while your carefully planted vegetables look weak and struggling. This scenario isn't just bad luck, it's actually providing valuable information about your soil's condition. Weeds are opportunistic survivors that often thrive in poor, imbalanced soil conditions because they're adapted to extract nutrients from challenging environments. The problem is that these aggressive weeds are essentially bullying your garden plants, hogging water, nutrients, and sunlight, while leaving scraps for your desired crops. Many weeds are also excellent at identifying and exploiting specific soil imbalances, which is why certain weeds can indicate particular soil problems. Combat this naturally by applying thick layers of organic mulch around your plants, which suppresses weed germination while retaining soil moisture. Hand-pulling or hoeing weeds before they set seed prevents future generations from establishing. Most importantly, focus on improving your soil quality with organic matter so your desired plants can compete more effectively. When your soil becomes rich and balanced, your garden plants will be strong enough to outcompete most weeds naturally. Sign number 5. Your soil cracks and crusts over. When your garden soil develops deep cracks and forms a hard crust after just a few hot days, it's displaying classic symptoms of poor soil structure and, honestly, not enough organic matter. This crusty surface acts like armor, preventing water from penetrating and making it nearly impossible for new seedlings to emerge or for air to reach plant roots. Crusting typically occurs in soils with fine particles that lack the organic binding agents that create healthy soil structure. Without organic matter to hold soil particles together in stable aggregates, the surface particles settle into a dense, impermeable layer when wet, then harden into a crust as they dry. You can address this naturally by working compost-aged manure or other organic matter into your soil to improve its water-holding capacity and structure. Surface mulching is crucial for protecting the soil from direct sun exposure and reducing evaporation. Also, consider planting living ground covers in areas where crusting is severe, as these plants will protect the soil surface while their roots gradually improve soil structure from below. Sign number 6. Your soil smells off. Healthy soil should smell fresh and earthy, kind of like the forest floor after a rain shower. If your soil smells sour, rotten, sulfurous, or even metallic, it's signaling some serious problems beneath the surface. These unpleasant odors usually mean there's poor drainage, anaerobic conditions, or maybe some chemical imbalances that can really harm your plant health. Sour or rotten smells often point to anaerobic bacterial activity, which happens when soil stays waterlogged and oxygen levels drop. These bacteria, well, they produce compounds that are toxic to plant roots and beneficial soil organisms. And if you notice metallic odors, that might indicate pH problems or even contamination issues that need immediate attention. To fix this, improve soil aeration by gently turning the soil and adding compost to introduce beneficial microorganisms that help restore balance. Make sure you have proper drainage throughout your garden and avoid overwatering, since that can create those low oxygen conditions harmful bacteria really love. Just remember, healthy soil is alive with beneficial microbial activity, and good smells are strong indicators of a thriving soil ecosystem. Sign number 7. Soil is dusty or blows away easily. When your topsoil resembles dust and blows away at the slightest breeze, you're witnessing the loss of your garden's most valuable asset. Topsoil erosion is a serious problem that strips away organic matter, beneficial microorganisms, and essential nutrients that took years to develop naturally. This dusty condition often results from over-tilling, lack of organic matter, or leaving soil bare for extended periods. Without plant roots or organic binding agents to hold soil particles together, even gentle winds can carry away inches of precious topsoil in a single season. Protect your soil by maintaining constant cover through mulching or planting cover crops during off-seasons. These protective measures hold soil particles in place while gradually adding organic matter as they decompose. Living ground covers create a protective mat that prevents erosion while their root systems help bind soil particles together, creating more stable soil structure over time. Sign number 8. Your plants look root-bound in the ground. Sometimes plants actually become root-bound even when they're planted directly in garden beds, which, seems kind of impossible, but it actually happens more often than you'd think. This usually occurs when roots run into barriers or just really poor soil structure that forces them to grow in these tight circling patterns instead of spreading outward to establish a strong foundation. Root-bound plants in garden settings usually indicate the presence of hardpan layers, extremely compacted soil, or underground obstacles that prevent normal root development. These plants will show stunted growth, poor drought tolerance, and reduced productivity because their limited root systems just can't access enough water and nutrients. To address this, try gently loosening the soil before planting and work compost deep into the planting area to create friable, root-friendly conditions. In more severe cases, you might need to break through hardpan layers using double digging techniques or even raised bed construction to give plant roots the space they really need to develop properly. Sign number 9. Insects and disease spread rapidly. A garden that's constantly battling pest invasions and plant diseases often has some underlying soil health problems. Unhealthy soil just doesn't have the diverse microbial communities and balanced nutrition that support strong, resilient plants, and that really leaves them vulnerable to attack from insects and pathogens. Weak plants are honestly like magnets for pests and diseases because they can't mount effective natural defenses. Healthy soil creates healthy plants with robust immune systems that can resist many common garden problems naturally, which, by the way, reduces your need for interventions. Build soil health by adding compost and worm castings. These introduce beneficial microorganisms that support plant health and help suppress harmful pathogens. Oh, and avoid broad-spectrum chemical treatments since they destroy beneficial soil life along with the problems you're trying to solve. If you focus on creating a thriving soil ecosystem, you'll see some pretty dramatic improvements in your plant's natural disease and pest resistance. Sign number 10. Your harvests are declining year after year. Perhaps the most disheartening sign of soil problems is watching your garden's productivity decline despite consistent care and effort. When the same varieties that once produced abundant harvests now barely provide enough for a single meal, your soil is telling you it's exhausted and depleted. This gradual decline often results from years of taking nutrients out of the soil without putting enough back in, combined with compaction, loss of organic matter, and declining microbial activity. Like a bank account that's constantly being withdrawn from but never receives deposits, depleted soil simply can't support productive plant growth. Revive tired soil with generous applications of compost, regular feeding with organic fertilizers, and occasional rest periods where you plant soil-building cover crops instead of demanding vegetable crops. Consider giving severely depleted areas a full season of rest while feeding them with layers of organic mulch and letting natural processes restore fertility. Ready to transform your garden soil and unlock your garden's true potential? Hit that subscribe button and share this guide with fellow gardeners who might be struggling with these same soil challenges. Remember, great gardens start with great soil, and with these natural solutions, you're well on your way to creating the thriving garden of your dreams. What soil challenges are you facing in your garden? Drop a comment below, and let's grow together.